Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and my channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Well, you know what, folks, I kind of pride myself in buying pens a little bit from all kinds of places all over the world, and today I've got a pen from Taiwan, from a Taiwanese pen maker, and I think this pen maker is underrated and maybe not as well known. And it's a pity if he is, or if it is, because I invite you to take a look at Cypress pens, or Mr. Cypress. Take a look at their website. The web address will be in the description. It is an absolute eye candy. You can go through it. It will take you hours to go through that website, because they have pens of every conceivable dimension, shape, design, with clips, without clips, cigar shape, not cigar shape, flat tops. Let me tell you, all kinds of materials. You've got celluloid in there, metal, ebonite, resins, acrylics, and G10 material, which I discovered when I purchased the pen I'm offering for review today. And without any further ado, here is the Cypress G10 in the Shuttle shape. Okay, so let's start our review. First of all, the box. Nothing fancy, but extremely interesting. Here's the box. It comes in, and you know what? You can always tell, you can tell something anyway about a pen manufacturer from the packaging, and how the pen comes to you. Sometimes the packaging is better than the pen. But let me tell you, Cypress packages their pens in the following fashion. Now, I've ordered 3 from them, and they've all come this way, so they're pretty consistent. Okay, so we open the box. You'll find the warranty notice, along with the product number and the warranty period, and we'll put that aside. A little business card giving you some contact information. Styrofoam, we remove that, and here is what we find underneath. This is a box, and the box is well inserted in this protective foam. Okay, so no problem with transportation and damaging, let me tell you. And here's beautiful box. Okay, let's remove the sleeve. Excellent handmade fountain pens from Mr. Cypress, Taiwan. Here we go. So some branding there. Take a look at this beautiful box, folks. This is not a cheap, box that will break on you just by opening it. No, this is solid, can be used for future use. The box comes in this top that has 4 magnetic, magnetic dots here that keep the top closed nicely. Okay. And okay, so if we remove that, here's the pen. The pen comes in a plastic sleeve. I've opened it up already, but it's sealed. And there is this nice bedding here, soft bedding to protect the pen. So we'll put the box aside here. And here's this gorgeous pen, folks. Now, what can I say about the first thing that hit me when I opened that box and put this pen in my hands? This pen is all about the material. Okay, so let's make this very, very clear. The shape is what they call a shuttle shape, simply because it looks like a shuttle, if you will, or a space shuttle. There are various other shapes that come in this material. You have flat top. You have a more cigar shape, so to speak. But this one is called the shuttle shape. Okay. Without saying that it is a big pen, it is it's fairly large, and we'll see the dimensions in a few minutes and comparisons. But the material is absolutely exquisite. Now, I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to go to the website, and just give me a second, and so that we can take a look at the exact description of the material, okay? Because G10 does stand for something. Overall, just simply put, when I put this pen in my hand the first time, I thought I was dealing with a porcelain material. I've since discovered that I was close. It's cold, as opposed to ebonite, which some people say is warm, if you will. It's like porcelain. In fact, when you look at the description, it is an epoxy resin laminated alkali free glass fiber cloth, an epoxy filled glass composite material. That's G10. G stands for glass fiber, refers to the glass fiber containing 10%. Okay? And G10 material has the characteristics of insulation, corrosion resistance, and wear resistance. It says it's very light, but I disagree. I think there's quite a bit of, without being heavy, but you can sense you're holding something that is substantial. At first, G10 was used as the material for aircrafts. It can withstand great force without being deformed, will not be penetrated by moisture and liquid. It has insulation. It has acid and alkali resistance, so it is widely used, but the relative price is higher than similar materials. It's got this ever-changing and dreamy sort of design in the pen with different colors, which makes it really, 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 really special. It's as hard as jade, apparently, and has a cold touch, as I mentioned to you. It is different from acrylic and is much more stable and thick. And I can vouch for that because during my B-roll, when I did, the small introductory video of this pen sitting on different pen stands, I accidentally dropped it a few times. As you can see, it has no clips, so it does have a tendency to roll, and it rolled right off one of my tables. And I can tell you that nothing happened to it. So I inadvertently tested the resistance of this pen to my great, great chagrin, but it worked out just fine. So this material, I got to tell you, I think it is amongst the best feeling pen. I don't know how else to describe it. In one of the best, anyway, in my collection. Visconti has Homo sapiens with that unique lava material. You can have celluloids, you can have ebonites, you can have even Cypress itself has micarta. They have celluloids of all kinds. You got materials like ultum, for example, which is something different and or not simply resin or precious resin or precious acrylic, if you will, or plastic, like some of the more expensive brands. So beautiful pen, just an absolutely really gorgeous pen, I've got to tell you. And I purchased this, so I didn't get this for free. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, personally, I love this pen, okay? And I love the feel of the pen. Now, I'm going to try to see how many turns it takes. I'm just going to use that as a gauge. So we have 1.25, 1.5. So I would say, well, I missed my lead here. Just apologize. So that's 1. So it's 2 turns. Okay. And they make their own in-house nibs. Isn't that wonderful? There it is, beautifully branded Cypress nib. And we're going to take a look at these nibs a little closer, just because what I proposed to do for you is I have an 18 karat, I have a 14 karat, and I purchased with this pen, this came in fine, I purchased the medium, the broad, and the fude. So we have the whole offering in terms of nibs. I have them all. So we'll be able to do some writing samples, and I'll be able to show you what each gives. It looks like now you can accommodate your nib. They make sections that are Yowo compatible, Bach compatible, or Schmidt compatible. So imagine. So you can buy the nibs, and if you have a Schmidt section or a Yowo section or a Bach section, you can buy the nibs, and you're all set. How much do the pen itself goes for $170 US. It's a bargain, folks. And the nibs can be purchased. Let me just go to the website. Well, you know what? I will let the... One of the things is the website's a little slow, so you have to be patient because it's got so much graphics in it. But so I've got the whole gamut in terms of the nibs, and we'll take a look at that shortly. Very nice in terms of length. Nice big pen, and it sits so nicely in that curve of your hand. Very comfortable. The section's got just a slight flare there. This threading is very, very smooth. I don't see any issues at all. This one is a cartridge converter. So there you have it. It's been inked already. It's got a standard Schmidt converter. Fits in there very nicely. The nib is, I got to tell you, the nibs are absolutely exquisite, and we'll take a look at each in just a few minutes. Now, does it post? No, it doesn't. It doesn't post at all. It's not a poster. It doesn't even sit there. Okay, that may be a deal breaker for some of you, which would be unfortunate, but it is what it is. This pen doesn't post. It doesn't present a great problem for me simply because I don't post my pens, but for some of you, it may be a deal breaker. Now, material is very thick. Let's just go in there with my flashlight to see what we see. And we see just a huge, you see that step? So, I mean, the way this pen is designed with that huge step that we see there, I suspect that this pen is not going to have a drying issues at all. And if the other pens are any indication, the other Cypress pens are any indication, they're not going to have a drying. It's not going to have a drying issue whatsoever. I mean, the section here is very, very nice. It closes and opens very smoothly. No problems. Well manufactured. And take a look at that resin. Not the resin, but just the design in that material. Very nice. And I would imagine that every pen is different. Okay, it's got beautiful colors, so you can pick and choose whatever ink you want. You can go from the blue, from the black, to the orange, to the red. I think the only color that's missing in here is green, in terms of my favorite colors, but all the rest are pretty well represented. And of course, I'll show you the ink I put in this, but if you guys have any indication of my favorite color these days, you will have guessed. So that is the exterior, anyway, of the pen, and the interior. So what I propose to do now is do some sampling or some comparison with other pens. I'll be right back. Okay, so some pen comparisons for you. I've included in the choice of pens that I find have kind of a unique material and that I just like their touch. First of all, you have these. This is a Cypress micarta. The micarta is the material used, and similar shape. Okay, and this is celluloid acetate or cellulose acetate. Again from Cypress. Of course, you got my Homo sapiens that has that unique material, and then I chose one of the my Ranga pens with that ultum. This one here is a lotus with a sort of an acetate celluloid material as well. So, as you can see, the subject pen is quite big. When it is slightly longer because of their tips than my Homo sapiens. So that it is not a small pen, and it overtowers this Cypress celluloid pen, which, by the way, you can see my reviews of these pens. Just a gorgeous pen. So there you have the pens uncapped and unposted. Now here are the pens uncapped and unposted, and as you can see, it's still fairly long pen as compared to my Homo sapiens, which is characterized as a big pen, I would say, just slightly smaller in terms of length than this big Lotus Author. But rivals are very similar to the micarta. It has a number 6 steel nib with a Yobo compatible section there, and we will take a look at the nibs in a second. But they come in many varieties and different grinds that you can get the nibs in. So nice girth, nice length, beautiful pen. There you have the pens uncapped and unposted. I will not compare the pens posted because the subject pen does not post. Okay, so we're back for the writing sample. I just did want to mention the nibs came in these little plastic tubes that you could use for ink sampling. So, from the packaging right to the pen, Cypress, congratulations. Excellent. By the way, I ordered the pen and it got to me within 4 or 5 days. Certainly less than a week. I had the pen on my doorstep from Taiwan to Montreal, Canada. So, really nice service so far. And it's to be commended. So let's get down to the writing sample. Just before we start, the ink is this Majon blue-black ink that I love. Let me just show you a swatch of the ink. Here you have, there's a light blue version, but I chose this blue-black It's got a little bit of red sheen, and that's one of my favorite inks these days. Okay, so that's the ink. So, Mr. Cypress, or Cypress pens, and this is the G10 in the Shuttle shape. The nib is a Cypress number 6 steel, and this is the fine. The ink is Majon. There's a name for it, but it's the blue-black. And the paper that I forgot to mention is Tomo River paper original. Okay. The pen is absolutely exquisite. I got to tell you, the wetness, very wet. It's also smooth. The only feedback you hear is because it's a fine. You know, it's the nature of the beast, so to speak. In terms of fast writing, yeah, no matter what direction, I mean, very consistent. Reverse writing, oh yeah, smooth, very doable. You'll get an extra, in my view, extra fine, but it's very, very doable. So let's look at the likes and dislikes. Now, I don't have any dislikes, but objectively speaking, there's no posting with this pen. No clip or roll stop. So you have to be careful because, as I mentioned to you, this pen rolled off one of my video props, but it withstood the crash twice. Likes. Well, first of all, the material. I mean, the material to me is unique, and I give it a thumbs up, 10 on 10. The build quality with all these pens so far, in my view, is 10 on 10. And the nib, especially at that price, is 10 on 10. It is a kind of a stiff, I forgot to mention, it's kind of stiff, but what I realize is the longer you use it, the bouncier it gets. But, you know, you're not going to get a lot of line variation from this nib. It is not a bouncy nib, but it's not, you know, stiff as some of the Chinese nibs, if you will. And I found the more I use it, it starts to get a little more bouncy. Material, build quality, nib. The price is as I mentioned, is $170 US. I think it's full value. Okay. Is this a go-to pen for me? What I mean by go-to is this a pen I would use on a daily basis? Absolutely. Some people would argue that, you know, those swirls and the colors are a little bit too noisy for a boardroom setting. I disagree. I like to show off my colored pens. I have no problem. And you know what? It's comfortable. for long writing session. It writes well. I would not hesitate to use this on a daily basis. So there you have it. Do I recommend it? Yes. It's a big yes for me. Okay, so we've done the pen itself with this fine nib. What I propose next is I want to show you a value added. I have several other nibs. Now, in terms of the nibs, here are the nibs that I propose to show you. The subject pen has a fine steel. These are all steel, going from even a Fude nib, as you can tell with this one, okay? But you've got broad, medium, Fude, fine. Then you have the 14 karat gold number 6 steel and a 18 karat. And we'll take a look at their bounce and their softness in a second. But I think there's no better way for you to actually appreciate all these nibs than to actually verify and take a look at the website, which I propose to do next. Here you see there's the Cypress Gold with nag style grind nibs. You can get the 18 karat gold with special naginata style nibs. You can get stacked, multi-layered stacked nibs here, anywhere between $12 and $175. You got quite a bit of selection. Your 14 karat nibs run from $145 to $354. You look at this. You got this bead, big plated dragon. You've got all kinds of different branding in the nibs. But what's really interesting is that you could get these steel nibs running from extra fine right down to broad at anywhere between $12 and $15 US, which is a deal. And you can upgrade them. You can upgrade and they give you a little bit of a discount. So there you have it. I mean, $12 to $15, that's cheaper than a Schmidt nib. So, and certainly cheaper than Bach and Yobo in terms of what, the prices that those nibs go for. And then take a look. You can actually have titanium German Bach nibs. They'll sell them to you. You can have gold nibs from Bach as well if that's what you prefer in your pen. So they number 2. What is in number 2? I think I never saw the second page. Now, as you can see, the website is a little slow, but it's just because there's so much graphic and it takes time to load them. But there you have it. You can get in the Yobo Flex. You can get the Yobo Nag Grind. You can get German Schmidt nibs at $7. Take a look at that. Different types of Schmidt nibs. German Yobo nibs anywhere between $18 and $200 depending. So you've got quite a selection when it comes to nibs. Just 1 second here. Yeah, so I think fabulous. It's just fabulous. You could go through that website nice and slow, take a look at your price point, your budget. What I noticed is the more trimmings it has, and they've got some wonderful clips and bands and logos and finials. The more trimmings there are, the more expensive the pen. You can see that I've chosen 2 pens already without any trimmings, so it kind of reduces the cost quite a bit, just because I wanted to test the pen. I wanted to see what those nibs were all about. So speaking of nibs, I don't have them all because you saw how the variety they have, but I did want to show you what I have so that it may enter into your buying decision. This is a Cypress 14 karat fine nib. Wow. This has got a bounce. I don't know if you see that. See that? It's got a very nice bounce. Very, very wet. 10 on 10 for this nib. And, I might, for the time being, switch that 14 karat and put it into my new G10, just so that I can have some fun with it. The next gold one is this Cypress. This is a 18 karat. Again, fine. Doesn't have the same bounce. And I mentioned this in a previous video. Let me just take a sip of my espresso. I did mention in a recent video that I discovered that, generally speaking, and I don't know if this is a rule or not, that 18 karat nibs are not necessarily softer than 14 karat in terms of bounce. Quite the opposite. So when I first got this 18 karat on this pen, I thought it was going to be even softer than the 14, and was quite shocked or surprised when I didn't get the same bounce. And it's only recently that I discovered that it's not because it's 18 that it's going to be bouncier. So personally, why would I go for the 18 karat at such a more price, just greater price than the 14 karat that gives me the bounce? But I got to tell you, it's still extremely smooth. Both of them are smooth and wet. There is a little bit of that sailor type of chalky feedback, which is really interesting. So these gold nibs, at the price, I recommend them. It's okay. So let's go back to the steel nibs. This one is the medium, number 6. So this is the Cypress number 6 steel medium. Now, some would argue that the medium is not as thick as maybe North American medium. I don't have the Binder measuring tool to be able to tell you, but it just seems to me that the medium is just not as thick as some of the other mediums that I have. But again, it depends. That often depends on the ink. It depends on the paper. This is the Fude. I wanted to compare it right away to the. Okay, this is the broad. So this is a broad. You see the tipping is quite generous there. So, but you see that when put on paper, I don't see a significant difference between the medium, frankly, and the and the broad. So, in fact, some would argue the medium may even look a little bit, thicker than the broad. But again, that depends on the ink. So I don't find a big difference between these two. But in terms of being smooth, wow. This one does not have that sailor-like feedback at all. So if you really like a smooth nib, and maybe like a broad, smooth nib that's not as thick as North American or Yowo broad, for example, then you know what? The Cypress might do the trick. I wanted to show you the Fude. I added that in just for the fun of it in my order. So this is the Cypress number 6 fine Fude, steel. So writes very nicely. And I think the lower your angle, course, you'll get more thickness out of this nib. Okay, very wet, but smooth. The other nibs, I'll give you a nice reverse. This one, I think Fude nibs are not meant to be reverse. It's smooth, but there's very little ink that gets put on the paper. Okay, but those of you, especially the artists, they want that wants a smooth Fude nib. Yes, indeed. What I might do is order some of their grinds with my next pen, because I know there's going to be a next pen for sure. But there you have it. So it gives you kind of a little more variety in the nibs, so that if you contemplate on buying any of these Cypress pens, then at least you have a wider choice here demonstrated. Okay. That's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I really recommend Cypress. I can't stop. And look, they have not sent me the pen or any pens. I'm not in contact with them. This is not a paid commercial, and I'm not insisting on you buying it. But if you've contemplated a pen, and you're looking at anywhere between 170, even less, frankly, they've got pens, $100 to $300 range, and you want some quality materials and a well-built pen with a nib that's not Yowo and Bach, I strongly recommend that you take a look at their website. That's at the very least. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me once again. Please subscribe. Bing! Just show your appreciation, comment, and thumbs up. And if it's thumbs down, let me know why. And enjoy your pens, folks. This is a great spring is here. My golf game is next week, my first game. So you know what? It's looking up. Take care.